Welcome to the Two Dads No Supervision podcast. I'm your host, Drew, and Ian is out this week. Unfortunately, he had a family situation come up, and if you would keep Ian and the family in your prayers, tough time, and yeah, my heart goes out to them. Not an easy situation, but I'm going to go ahead and record my half of the conversation, and good news, this is going to be the most level-headed episode ever. No, in all honesty, the conversation will be obviously shorter this week because it's me talking to the camera, and Ian does a very great job of researching things and trying to talk through points. Again, I don't always agree with his perspective, but I do appreciate his passion and his thoughtfulness in the arguments there. Unfortunately for you, you get to listen to this guy. So this will be the most conservative leaning episode we will probably ever produce. And what can I say? It's just the way the cookie crumbles. So before we get into the political aspect of things, I do want to talk about a couple of cool ideas that Ian and I are about to implement. One, when it comes to football, Ian and I love football, and we both love, of course, fantasy football. And so we are going to build a 12-team redraft league. We are working out the rules and everything for that. But 10 of those slots are going to be taken by you guys, the fans. And we need you all to jump on in. So whoever wants to be involved, at this point, it's first come, first serve. You all know that we're not famous yet. We're building out our community. But those of you who have been here from day one, we want you to be involved, and we want to have that camaraderie with you. So what you can do is join. We'll be on the Sleeper app, and you can join our fantasy football league, and then get in there and tell Ian how dumb he is on the political arguments, or tell me how great my beard looks, or, because I don't know what else you would talk about. But we're going to be opening up that league and putting out an invite soon. So I'm excited about that, getting to interact with you all and just crush you on fantasy football. Just obliterate everyone. That first year championship is going to be something special. This does open up the second announcement that I want to make. We are going to be opening up a Patreon community. And I know everyone on YouTube, every podcaster, every influencer does this. Again, Ian and I work. I own a business. Ian works a full-time job. And we also want to bring as much value as possible to the community. So opening up a Patreon, it's going to be an exclusive Patreon community that will give you special access to different things. You'll get, of course, extra content. We'll also record special content specifically for our Patreon. Here's the real selling point. Okay, we have a couple of things that we're bouncing around as far as ideas. Like twice a year, you're going to get free Two Dads No Supervision merch. But here's the thing that everyone wants. You're going to have a chance to debate either Ian or I. Like, you can say, okay, I really want to talk to Ian about immigration laws, and I want to talk to Drew about Trump's corruption or something like that. And you can yell at us, and we will try to kindly debate back and have a conversation in a similar fashion that Ian and I are doing. And those debates we will post on our main YouTube channel here. Also, in that Patreon community, you're going to get let me look at this to make sure. We haven't written it out yet, so I apologize. But we are going to have the ability for, I believe it's monthly shout outs. If you would like us to record our special video for you, or if you want me to just trash talk you for 30 seconds, or you could say, hey, I have this neighbor that thinks that Trump is a doo-doo head. So Drew, can you give me a recorded message that I could send to them? I don't know why I'm doing the phone signal, but we would record those videos custom for each of our Patreon members and send those to whomever. So we have that and a few different line items that we're still ironing out the details, but I'm excited about that. That will be accessible very soon. $15 a month is what we're looking at for that. This will allow us, we're not going to make a lot of money off of it. We are really just going to be able to commit time and merch to the community, and it's only going to be for 25 members. So the first 25 get in. And then at that point, it's a waiting list for the thousands and thousands of people who are wanting to join in to our Patreon community from there. So those are a couple of announcements to be looking out for. We'll put more details on Facebook and X and wherever else we feel like posting stuff. So I'm excited about that. But for now, let's talk about the thing that I hate the most in this life: politics. All right, now I should preface this. I understand the value of politics and I understand the need for politics. I don't like talking about it because it is divisive. It's always divisive. And I appreciate the platform that Ian and I have here where we're able to talk and still be friendly with one another, still like each other at the end of these conversations. I do not like the division that these political conversations promote. And so it always puts some angst in my soul. The Bible talks a lot about peacemakers are the blessed ones. Blessed are the peacemakers, and those who are brawlers or divisive men, they're not qualified for the ministry. They just don't have the right ministry heart. And so in my soul, I really, it hurts me sometimes to talk about these things, but I know they're important conversations. They shouldn't be avoided. And if we can talk in unity and with the heart of love and with the common ground that we love our nation, we love our neighbors, and we want to see God promoted, and we want to see people made prosperous as much as is reasonable, as much as should be, then I think we can have these conversations in a good heart. So unfortunately for you all, you're not going to get any back and forth unless I pretend to be Ian for a couple of bits here and there. But I will try to go through some rapid pace political news rundown. So first thing, I believe it was just today, the Supreme Court ruled 6-3 to restrict broad injunctions against Trump's executive order limiting birthright citizenship. Lower courts can no longer issue nationwide blocks, only targeted injunctions for named plaintiffs. So basically, this means it can't be a lower court saying, oh, this executive order is out of order, we don't like it, and so it's illegal. Instead, the Supreme Court has decided that it's going to be a case-by-case situation. You got to make sure that we're actually not making sweeping injunctions, but rather let's deal with the law instead of just like, ooh, Trump is bad, we don't like him, let's try to tear down all of his executive orders. There's a lot of nuance here. Again, you all know my situation. My wife is an immigrant, a legal immigrant. We've gone through all the legal paperwork. I'm actually working on getting a Brazilian citizenship for my daughter so she can have dual citizenship. And then we'll see what the pathway is for me as well, so that I can go and visit family down in Brazil without having to get a visa every 10 years. And so we're working through all that. There is a lot of complication here. It shouldn't be complicated. I think they need to simplify the process on all ends, but I understand how it is an easy trap to fall into to make this unnecessarily complicated. I also think this is a good move by the Supreme Court to say, hey, let's look at each thing, each case on a case-by-case situation, and work through it to make sure that we are following within the legal framework that has been given to us by our forefathers. Second ruling that I believe also happened today, in a 5-4 decision, the Supreme Court has allowed parents to temporarily opt their children out of LGBTQ inclusive books and materials in public schools. It goes a little bit beyond this based off of what I have seen just in preliminary research. There was a school system that for a while was sending notifications to parents saying, we are about to teach something that may be outside of your religious boundaries or your religious belief system. And so if you would like, we can remove your children from the classroom temporarily for whatever lesson is being taught. And as I understand it, that school system got overwhelmed with all of the requests to remove children out of specific classroom conversations, mostly regarding the LGBTQ movement. And they said, forget this, we're not going to notify parents at all, we're just going to teach them what we want to teach them. I'm sure I'm approaching that in a crude and unfair manner, but that's the message that I got just from my preliminary research. My opinion on this, I think it's a great move. Parents should be in control of what their children learn. I am a proponent of homeschooling. I grew up homeschooled, That explains a lot, right? Now we know why Drew's so weird. I grew up a homeschooler. I got to experience a lot of things in a unique lifestyle based off of how we were raised and my father's ministry. But I plan on homeschooling our daughter and our future children because I believe in being able to control what my daughter learns and then giving her truth and allowing her to grow up and develop and to think. I think parents should be in control of what their kids learn. Then once the kids graduate, once they have formed the cognitive abilities to make decisions, then they should be able to study truth and make decisions. But until then, it's the old school saying, if you're in my house, you'll abide by my rules. If you're in my house, if you're under my roof, if you're eating at my table, you're going to learn my values. And I'll tell you why my values are important. And then you can make your own decision as you grow up. It's an old principle that in the book of Proverbs, it shows up multiple times. But if you train up a child in the way he should go, when he's old, he will not depart from it. Next on the agenda, Tim Kaine. Senator Tim Kaine is, in case you don't remember, he is the Tim Walz before Tim Walz. He was the previous vice presidential candidate against Trump when Hillary was running. So almost a decade ago now. But Tim Kaine has forced a war powers vote. He has triggered a Senate vote to determine whether President Trump needs congressional authorization to further strikes on Iran. Because after the Israeli airstrikes and Trump's 2-week diplomacy or else warning to Iran, lawmakers want clarity on the limits of executive military power. Understand the need to keep executive powers in check. There's a lot here to unpack because it was okay when Obama dropped thousands of bombs. Senate said nothing that I remember. I mean, I was younger, so I could be missing stuff here in all honesty, but I don't remember media uproar about it. But because the grumpy orange man with the ferret on his head decided to stop a nuclear escalation of the number one funder of terrorism in the world, the Senate's like, oh, I don't know. I think he's taking too much power. It's wildly inconsistent. It really is. I do think we need to keep executive powers in check. That's the whole point of having multiple branches of government, system of checks and balances. I also think that we have devolved into pettiness on both sides of the aisle. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on in this segment. Disagreement over the B-2 bombing effectiveness. So Trump ordered some B-2 bombers to go out and bomb those Iranian nuclear facilities. And then immediately the media is like, oh, well, he really didn't get anything. The facilities are too deep. Or, oh, the nuclear equipment, all that was already taken out. And so there's no way. He just wasted time and started a war for no reason. Well, none of those things are true. And we have wildly contradictory reports. The far right says it was a complete obliteration. We destroyed them. We demolished them. They are set back years. And then the far left says, oh, you barely put a scratch on their facilities. You didn't touch anything. The truth is, when you have two wildly extreme answers, the truth is right in the middle somewhere in this range. Chances are we probably set them back a bit. We damaged some stuff. We definitely sent a message. Now, the whole world has seen the message that Trump sent. He's not going to wait around. He's going to take action when action needs to be taken on high level like this. With this was and Ian is 100% going to argue with this. This was a peace thinking measure. This was, hey, we can't afford the Middle East to be in a great conflict right now. So we're with Israel. We're going to protect Israel. We are going to stop Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. 80% of the country agrees with that statement. We need to stop Iran from getting nuclear capabilities. So that's what we did. We tried to stop Iran from getting nuclear capabilities. You can argue the effectiveness, but you won't know until you go to the mountains there and start digging hundreds of feet down into the ground to see the facilities. It's under piles of rubble. So it makes sense what Trump was doing. In my estimation, he's trying to cause peace before escalations got out of hand. And so the ceasefire is something that immediately got put in place and then immediately disregarded by both nations. We all heard Trump's frustration with that, which brings us into our next point. So NATO also happened in the NATO meeting recently, and I must say there was public admiration from the NATO chief for Donald Trump. He spoke publicly about how Trump has gotten these nations to commit to improving their defense budgets. I believe it's 30, and I'll get fact checked on this, that's fine. But I believe it's like 31% of the NATO nations have now committed to dedicating 5% of their national budget to defense, which is what Trump has been asking for the whole time. The NATO chief was so thankful for Trump's leadership. A lot of nations came around and said, thank you so much for doing this. This never could have happened a few years ago, but now it's happening and we are grateful. It needs to happen. We can't continue to foot the bill for the entire world to be safe, okay? Let's all work together and can still be the most powerful nation. Ian talks about soft power a lot, and I get it. We can still be the most powerful nation in the world. We don't have to be spending to protect the whole world. We can be more powerful, protect ourselves, let other nations contribute to the cause. We can work together. It doesn't have to be 99% us, 1% them. Again, Ian is going to see this and just blow a gasket. Sorry, Ian. But with that, some foolishness came out of NATO. Okay, I'm going to be frank with you. It's foolishness. I don't like it. But I get the humor in it. So Trump was talking about how he was ticked off that Israel and Iran immediately ignored the ceasefire and said, oh, we have 12 hours. Let's go drop all the bombs. Stupidity. So Trump was asked about that in a question, and he said, in a joke, kids aren't getting along. You got to make kids get along. The Dutch NATO chief said, and then sometimes daddy has to come in and use harsh words. I apologize for that impromptu Dutch accent. It wasn't very good. But the Dutch NATO chief said daddy has to use harsh words. He was referring to Trump, calling him daddy. And the media thought that was hilarious. And they ran with it. And then here's the foolishness. Okay, the White House then posted an AI music video that is now all over the internet, of course, called Daddy's Home because Trump arrived home from NATO. Stupid. It's so stupid. I get the humor, but let meme accounts do that. This is the White House account. Like, be serious for a second, please. So stupid. But man, it makes for great memes. It makes for great merch. It's going to be like everyone's ringtone in the next couple of weeks. Daddy's home. So take it for what it's worth. I think it's dumb. I would like the White House to be serious. We got a lot of serious matters to deal with, and let these other meme accounts, let podcasters make jokes. Whatever. So today, in the main theme that I want to talk about is this Iranian bombing stuff. So I get immediately people are upset. Trump needed congressional approval to declare war. Yes, you are right. Trump didn't get congressional approval to declare war. You are right. Trump went and bombed Iran without congressional approval. You are right. You're missing a key factor here. Trump never declared war. Trump made an executive action, and there's a preventative action and a forethought of peace, trying to limit the situation. Here's what we know. Bibi Netanyahu has for decades said Iran is just a few months away from creating nuclear weaponry. Decades he said that. And then for going back to maybe Bush, we had presidents saying Iran's pretty close to uh, uranium enrichment levels that give them within a few months of nuclear weaponry. And I believe Bush said it. I know Obama said it. I know Trump said it. I know Hillary said it when she was running for president. I know that Biden said it. I know a lot of people have said it, and nothing has been done about it except, no, Iran, you shouldn't do that. Don't make nuclear weapons. They're naughty. Well, I don't know how close they were. I know Tulsi Gabbard came out with a report saying they are not working on it. But then that's back in March. And then there's several other reports saying, well, their uranium is enriched at 60%. And they're just a few months away from 90% enrichment. And that's when they have enough to make nuclear weaponry. I don't know. But I do know that people have been talking about this for decades. No one has done anything about it. Trump did something about it, and now people are upset. It's foolishness, okay? If there's a problem, a known problem, just rip the Band-Aid off and take care of it. That's my philosophy in life. Just do it. If it's something that you can take care of, do it. What we do know is the escalation that happened recently. Israel for whatever reason, decided while they're in the midst of one war to then go ahead and bomb Iran. And Israel made an act of war against Iran. And then Iran, of course, then shot a lot of missiles back at Israel. And I know Ian, the spirit of Ian is with me now. Drew, if Trump hadn't backed out of the Iranian peace deal that Obama set up in 2018, then we wouldn't have this escalation. Well, Ian, listen to me, okay? That Iranian peace deal that Obama set up had the sunset clause. We were coming to the end of that. And it also didn't cover things such as ballistic missiles and other weaponry. There were a lot of clauses underneath that Iran was skirting around. No, you're just getting wrong facts. You're a dum-dum. No, Ian, I'm not a dum-dum. I did the research. And Trump, I've admitted this, Trump backed out of that deal too fast. He should have had something else in place. But that deal was still in effect with the European Union. Yeah, but Iran went away from the deal because the United States wasn't in the deal anymore. So it's Trump's fault. No, Ian, listen. The deal, the peace treaty was still in place. The deal was still in place. Iran broke the rules. And whether the United States is part of that treaty or not, Iran broke the treaty. This is what I'm talking about, Drew, with soft power. The United States has soft power and they need to be in the peace treaty for it to be in effect. So what you're telling me is Iran will only listen to the rules of a peace treaty if they are under threat of being bombed by the United States. Okay. All right. I know. Sorry about that, Ian. It's completely unfair for me to do that without you here. Also, sorry about the voice. It's what came to my head. It's all foolishness. It's all foolishness. Iran is a well-known evil nation. The way they abuse their own citizens, the way they mutilate their children, the way they invoke their Sharia law on their society and have oppressed generations of people. They are a wicked nation. Okay? We can't trust them in any peace treaty. Does that mean we don't incorporate peace treaties? Of course not. We ought to try. We ought to give them the chance to break a peace treaty. Guess what? We did that. We backed out of our end, said, look, we don't like this deal. We're going to go work on a new one. That peace treaty is still in effect with all of these other nations. So whether they agree that it was still in effect or not, it was still in effect. It was still in effect with the European Union. Iran ignored that, and they did their own thing. They broke the laws of the peace treaty. I don't know what to tell you, man. So the U.S. stepped in. There was some escalation here, okay? The Israel-Iranian escalation, it was there. You can debate about whether it was good or not, whether it was merited or not. But the peace treaty was still in effect. Iran disregarded that peace treaty as soon as they weren't afraid that there were going to be repercussions. Guess what? There were repercussions. We gave them another 60 days saying, hey, you have 60 days to make this deal. 60 days came and went. And guess what? On day 60, they got bombed by Israel. And then they attacked Israel. We stepped in. You can talk about whether you like Israel or not. They are well known to be one of our strongest, not the strongest ally that we have. And that's a mutual relationship. It's mutually beneficial. But that's them's the facts, brother. Them's the facts. So I know, again, Ian's going to watch this. He's going to pop a couple of veins in his head. Brain's going to explode. He's going to be really upset about all of this and record his own political conversation video later on. But that's what we have for now. I have a couple of frustrations with both political parties. Democratic Party, every time Trump does something, you get so ticked off. And suddenly it's the worst thing that any human has ever done. It's the most corrupt thing, is the worst human being, the worst president. Chill out. Just chill out. My goodness. A lot of Trump's policies, a lot of Trump's values are the Democratic Party of the 90s and the early 2000s. Okay? I don't agree with Trump on a lot of stuff. I'm not a Trump fan. I think he is a bully. I think he is brash and an emotional actor. I think he is a showman. I'm not a huge fan. He is not Adolf Hitler. He's not the worst human being to ever exist. Ian, I'm going to call you out here. You were talking in our Facebook message groups how he is objectively the worst president in the United States history. Well, no. James Buchanan literally sat back and let the Civil War happen. Andrew Johnson, an outspoken racist and just all-around loser. He got impeached when that had never happened before. There have been multiple horrible presidents. Trump's not the worst. He's definitely not the best. He's somewhere in the middle, honestly. He is a polarizing character, and that's where the problem comes. And unfortunately, each president is going to become more and more polarizing unless we get a hold of social media and these echo chambers that we find ourselves in. We got to chill out. Nobody is the worst except one person ever. That one person is the worst. No one's the best except one person ever, and that person's the best. Everyone else is somewhere in the middle. And Trump's not the worst. He's not the best. He's just the guy we have now. Republican Party, chill out. Hey, same message. Chill out. Specifically, just because of recency, Pete Hegseth, chill out, my guy. He is kissing the ground upon which Trump's shoes have trodden. Like, chill out. Trump is not the greatest, okay? He is a fallible human being. He's an angry dude. He is a showman. He's a celebrity. He's a business owner who does some good business things, does some stupid things, but he's not infallible. He's not perfect. He's not a deity like many of the MAGA proclaim him to be. I hate the celebrity worship of Trump. That's honestly the most off-putting thing about the whole MAGA movement, is that Trump is just shown with the halo and the glowing background and the angel of our day. He's when you look at him morally, he is an immoral man. He is not a strong Christian. He is not a good family man, not in his track record. Maybe that's changed recently, but he's on his third marriage, right? And known to have cheated multiple times. He's a vile, immoral human being. He has done some good things. He's done some bad things. He has built an incredible brand. When you look at marketing, Trump's done a great job of marketing the image of Trump, because you want people to either love or hate you because they're talking about you, thinking about you, either way. And Trump's done a great job of that. But Trump is not perfect. And so stop worshiping him, Republican Party. The Democrat Party, chill out. Stop. Just everyone, chill out. Step back, take a breath. Chill out. With that out of the way, let's talk Carolina Panthers. Woo! Who changed clothes? Me? Nah, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Yeah, I gotta rep my boy, BY9, Bryce Young. I am looking forward to this year. Woo! So, it is the off season. We are in the last week of June, first week of July, that range, and basically nothing happens this time of year. But I do have a couple of Carolina Panthers related items that have come up, and I'd like to talk about them. One, we just saw a lot of clips of Bryce Young doing some sort of sports event where he was participating in things like soccer, basketball, football, and look, Bryce is an athlete. He's a professional athlete. He's paid to be athletic. People talking about, man, Bryce Young looking like Steph Curry out there. Guys, I sit on the bench of a men's summer church league. I am not a superstar basketball player, but you put me in a practice setting, shooting a couple shots around the key, and then he took 10 3-point shots, and he made 5 of them. Okay, it's fine. Doesn't mean he's Steph Curry. He made some buckets in practice against nobody at 5'3". like, what are we doing here? This is how you know we are in the boring part of the offseason. I like Bryce Young a lot. I am glad he's our quarterback and he's not playing shooting guard for the Charlotte Hornets. Speaking of, item number 2, the Charlotte Hornets just had their draft, and for the first time in a long time, they decided to go with high floor candidates instead of high ceiling, low floor. Since the days of Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, maybe earlier, we have drafted candidates, young rookies that have this superstar potential, but it's like 0.003% chance that they'll ever get close to their potential. I grew up the Charlotte Bobcats, Charlotte Hornets fan. I've seen a lot of bad basketball. And I know it's the Carolina Panthers football segment, but it's Charlotte related, so like it or lump it, I'm going to talk about it. Man, the Charlotte Bobcats hurt my soul to the point where it made it hard for me to watch basketball. I love Gerald Wallace. I really like the days of Steven Jackson, Gerald Wallace. I thought that was cool. Kimball Walker was so much fun. Little point guard dude out there just getting triple doubles as a rookie. And like he was awesome. But man, we have had a lot of bad basketball. And last year might have done it for me, honestly. I thought that we had the team that was maybe not going to win anything, but we might make it to the playoffs, or at least the play-in game. And Grant Williams blew out his entire leg, and he's now walking on a toothpick. And Brandon Williams, and it was a lot of injuries. LaMelo Ball is made out of glass. Mark Williams made out of glass. We got two guys who are superstar potential, but that's all it is right now at this point. LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. Both of those are foundational pieces for a really good team, and it seems like we're building around them. Grant is a solid player. This Knuppel, the nipple dude, good shooter, good all-around player. He can be our backup point guard if we need to. You can handle the ball going up the court. We got another shooter late in the first that I'm excited about. He kind of fell to us. The two dudes we got in the second round players, what are you going to do? The center looks like he is going to be something of value for us. Kalkbrenner, big dude, big body, and it looks like he's an efficient inside-outside scorer, which is going to be nice. Really good at blocking, which we can always use more of. So we got perimeter defender in Cyan James. He's, I guess, a comp to like a Stanley Johnson type player. So good defensive wing dude, can play all around the edge there. So I'm excited. I think we have something worth looking at this coming year. Maybe some watchable basketball. What a novel concept. Back to the Panthers. You know what I'm really excited about? Xavier Legette has been working with the route god. This guy is a well-known football coach. He has done a great job in working with other receivers in the past. And some of these clips, I get it's just practice against ghosts out there. He's working in the field himself, but he looks sharp. Looks really sharp. He was always big. He's a thick 6'2". That's a hoss out there when he's running, and he's fast. He's strong. So if you can get Xavier to fix his route running and grab onto the ball, it's really tough. The Eagles game will sit in my memory for a long time until good XL plays just washes that away into the distant past. But if we can get Xavier to hold on to the ball, then man, we might have a good receiving core. I know Adam Thielen is the oldest receiver in the league, but between him and Tmac, and if XL gets this thing worked out, I don't know if Hunter Renfrow makes the team, but he's at least a solid vet, a crafty guy, again, a great route runner. I'd like him on the team just to coach the younger receivers in route running. Jimmy Horn looks like he cares. Man, we might be onto something. So it's my rapid pace. I do want to talk about in a little bit more detail Tetairoa McMillan. This guy had an interesting draft journey. So when he was being looked at 2 years ago, like, this is a superstar, a world-class talent. This happens all the time in college football. We see a guy, a freshman or a sophomore, who outperforms expectations and suddenly best in the world, but he's not going to get drafted for a year or two. Whenever some college player falls into that window, then you know they're going to fall in the draft stock, because people then lauding them as the next great thing will then watch them over the next season or 2 seasons and say, oh, wait, they're not perfect. There are some weaknesses to their game. Kind of like Marvin Harrison Jr., touted as the greatest wide receiver prospect since Randy Moss or Calvin Johnson, actually, I believe it was. So the greatest wide receiver prospect since Calvin Johnson. And guess what? He came into the league and he was a rookie. A really, really good rookie, but still a rookie. And now people are like, oh man, Malik Neighbors, he was a better wide receiver all along. We should have known it. We don't know the end of the story yet. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is a good receiver, and he's going to be a really good receiver. Same thing happened with, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence. although there's reasons for some doubt on both of those guys. But these guys who get touted really early on and then continue at a high level, but they don't continue to get better in college, then suddenly they're like, oh, well, maybe they're not that good. And then they fall in the draft. It's a long way of saying Ted McMillan had that journey. 1,500-yard receiver 2 seasons ago, and they're like, oh, he's the number one wide receiver prospect, bar none. There's no question about it. And then he comes into the draft process, another 1,300-yard season, another great season, a lot of good film, worst quarterback play, but still kept up a high quality level of production. And he gets into the draft and they're like, I don't know, he's kind of lazy on his routes. Oh, I don't know, he's not like a big, strong power dude who's just going to stiff arm defenders into the dirt. Oh, I don't know, maybe he's not really that good. And then suddenly we're talking, well, Travis Hunter's a better wide receiver prospect than him. And then, oh, Matthew Golden, because he ran a 4.24 40, he's a better wide receiver prospect. Matthew Golden has never been a top wide receiver prospect until he got mistimed on his 40-yard dash. By the way, Matthew Golden, probably going to be an okay receiver, more like a 4.4 guy, not a 4.2 guy. But that's another conversation for another team. Okay, I'll talk about it. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Green Bay Packers. What are you doing, guys? You already have a gluttony of wide receivers. The Bucs have 2 number 1 wide receivers. They possibly have 3 with Jalen McMillan, the guy that they drafted early last year, who was really good. And then they get greedy and snatch Egbuka. Like, let the guy play somewhere where he's needed. I hate it. For fantasy football, I hate it because I wanted Egbuka on my team. He's not going on my team, not as a Buck. He's the 4th or 5th or 6th option there. And then Matthew Golden, what are you doing, Packers? Like, you have 3 receivers. Granted, none of them are like number 1 receivers. Matthew Golden is not a number 1 receiver. He is at best like your 5th, 6th receiving option there. What are you doing drafting him so early? It's completely unnecessary. Okay, I'm not a general manager, but I'm smarter than some. Back to Tmac, my guy. So people are torn on him being drafted number 8 overall. I'm ecstatic about it because I think he's exactly what our offense needs. Now, if you go back and watch the tape, draft pundits mess people up a lot. Everyone's saying, oh, he's Drake London. He's Drake. I don't think Drake London is that good, to be honest. But Drake London and Ted McMillan, not the same receiver. Not even close to the same receiver. They are close to the same height. That's where it ends. They both have 2 hands and 2 feet, and they'll wear a helmet on Sundays. But that's about the end of the similarities there. Tmac is, if you go back and watch AJ Green, you could superimpose Tmac's jersey onto AJ Green, and you'd be like, oh yeah, that's Tmac. It's him. They are both 6'4" finesse receivers that pluck the ball out of the air. He reaches out, grabs it. It's not a body catch. He may not be the fastest guy. He may not be the shiftiest guy, but he may be the best guy on the field. He's going to snatch the ball even if he's triple teamed. We saw that in college. Triple teamed at times. And he's still reaching up because he's tall. He's taller than them. He also has long arms that go like Mr. Fantastic for miles. So he can reach out, grab the ball, pluck it out of the air. And what else do you want? What do you want from the guy? Like, he's not going to blow off the top of the defense with his speed, but he has enough speed to outrun a guy who's not paying attention a little bit or someone who slips up in coverage. We can get lightning speed elsewhere. It doesn't need to be a 6'4" freak of nature. That said, Ted McMillan is fast. He's still fast. He's like a 4'5", 4'6" guy, maybe even 4'4" on a good day if he drinks a good energy drink. Like, he's still fast. He's got a long stride, and with the long arms, that's really his superpower, his hands and his arms. And so he can run kind of curved routes a little bit. He can shave off the corners sometimes, but he's going to be able to outstretch the defense. And so this is going to be a perfect weapon for Bryce Young. Bryce is not going to be the guy who is blowing the top off the defense for 12 plays a game, maybe 4 or 5. But if you look at Drew Brees, I think that's the blueprint for Bryce Young. He's a super accurate guy who's going to kill you in the mid-range and in the short game. And then that's where T-Mac is going to thrive. Every once in a while, he'll run a post or He'll run a route to the end zone there and just run past the defense if they're not paying attention or they're in a zone or something like that. But Tmac is going to get a lot of targets because he plays right in the strength of Bryce Young. And then Adam Thielen is now going to be able to take a step back like he needs to. He doesn't have to be the focal point of the defense. And that's going to open up a lot because Adam Thielen, breaking news, Adam Thielen is still a good receiver. Slow as molasses. Oh my goodness, I could outrun Adam Thielen. And I have never been fast. But he is still a really, really good receiver. He's wise, and he knows how to sneak in behind the defense. He knows how to fake out dudes in the red zone. He knows how to get open, which is really the big skill there. Then when you get Jimmy Horn, or you can sign a Damiere Byrd type player in free agency, someone who runs a 4-2, a sprinter, all they need to do is just run and get thrown the ball in their direction. They don't even need to catch it. But if they get the ball thrown in their direction a couple plays a game, suddenly the defense is like, at any point, something big could happen. I have to be ready to step back further. And then that opens up the middle. We haven't had that since Robbie Anderson. And so, guys, I am stoked about this offense this coming year. When you look at Tmac, don't compare him to Drake London. Don't compare him to Calvin Johnson. Don't compare him to any fast, really strong receiver. He's not that guy. He doesn't have to be that guy. Compare him to A.J. Green and look at A.J. Green's career. A.J. Green, for a decade, was a top 5 receiver in this league. You look at DeAndre Hopkins. What does DeAndre Hopkins do better than anyone else? Just catch the ball. Another guy who's just been a top 10 receiver, top 3 receiver for a long time until age and injuries and all that. I think we're looking at a guy who's going to be a 1,200-yard dude for a decade. 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns a season. I don't care where you draft him. That's a good pick. And so all this argument, oh, I don't know. We had the worst defense. I know we had the worst defense. We took care of that. We needed Tmac. We got him. So Panthers Twitter, I know Ian's scared of you. I'm not scared of you. Panthers Reddit, you're even dumber than Panthers Twitter. Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro. No, I love you guys. Just know that you're going to have to eat your words with Tetairoa McMillan. He is going to be a superstar, and a superstar that we have needed. He will be better than DJ Moore. He will be the best receiver we have ever had outside of Steve Smith. Now that I got that off my chest, I want to talk about this fantasy football league that we're going to be doing. So 12 teams. We're going to look at a PPR, just a standard PPR scoring. Nothing crazy, but what we want to do is interact with you. Ian and I are going to be talking about draft strategies, probably not before we draft, but we'll talk about why we made the picks we made. We'll talk about how our teams are doing. We'll talk about how your teams are doing. And so it's going to be first come, first serve. The first 10 people that want to join into our fantasy football league for the Two Dads No Supervision podcast. Tell us in the comments, and we'll reach out to you privately. So don't post your private info down below, but let us know, hey, I want in that league, and we'll find a way to reach out to you, and we'll get you in the league. Again, it's going to be on the Sleeper app. They don't sponsor us, but they should, because I want to talk about how good Sleeper is as a fantasy football platform. I have done a lot of platforms. Sleeper is by far the best one I've used. It's the only one for serious fantasy football players. So there's your free promo, Sleeper. Reach out to me. Give me like some little emoticon icons for my guy when my team's demolishing all these other teams in head-to-head matchups. If you have any questions about that league, again, reach out to us. You can reach out for questions on Facebook. We have a messenger, of course. So Two Dads No Supervision on Facebook as well. Or in the comments below, we'll answer as quickly as we can. Let's talk about parenting.
Uh-oh. Stinky.
Parenting. Okay, so I'm going to take off my Panthers jersey. Bryce Young, still love you. Give him a kiss. See you later. This week in parenting. Holy cow, man. So I learned that my daughter has anger issues. I think all humans have anger issues, but my daughter, they are starting to creep up. We're in the terrible twos, and she has recently started throwing temper tantrums. I did that. I still do. You saw it in this podcast. It just comes naturally to kids. I get that. A lot of emotions. They're still learning how to process any feelings whatsoever, let alone all the feelings that they feel at once. The feelings they have are the greatest feelings they've ever had. Sounds like a president that we have. It's the greatest ever. It's the biggest ever. It's the worst ever. That's my toddler. Okay. So Isabella is struggling now when she is told no. She wants to lash out physically, and that is a foreign concept to me. For one, I had sisters growing up, no brothers. I kind of wish I had brothers because I think I grew up soft. I couldn't fight my sisters. I'd destroy them. And my youngest sister, Aubrey, I know you're thinking, I could have taken you. No, never. You can't take me now. You never could have taken me. I would have broken you. I accidentally chipped. I didn't even do it, okay? She's going to say I did it. She was wrestling me. I stepped out of the way. She hurt her tooth, chipped a tooth. I've never been a physical, like, violence guy. I took Taekwondo as a kid for a little bit. I took about a year of jujitsu. I love jujitsu. I would love to take it again. If someone wants to sponsor me for jujitsu training, post your contact info in the comments and I'll reach out to you. But I want to pick up jujitsu again. I would love physical combat. I never was that guy, though, growing up. Never had the chance to be that guy. Not sure I even wanted it. My daughter, however, she has a physically violent streak within her, and it's coming obviously naturally. The Bible talks against the natural man often. Like, hey, even if some behavior is natural, and there's a lot that people could say, I was born this way. Even if you were born a certain way, doesn't mean that the behavior is moral and acceptable. And with physical violence, like my daughter 2 or 3 times now has slapped my wife in the face. She has not slapped me in the face. She's probably a little more intimidated by me than my wife. I'm a larger human being, for one, and I have a scarier voice. But she has slapped my wife in the face a couple of times this week, and not just this week, but in recent times. And so we're working on how to handle that. Some good advice that was given to me, the initial response that we want to do is to slap her hand and say, no, don't do that. But then it becomes like this contest of physical brutality against physical brutality. So the advice that was given to me, and I would like some advice here in the comments. If she goes to hit someone, you grab her hands, have her sit on her hands, then tell her, no, we don't hit. Then, of course, I do incorporate a little bit of corporal punishment. And so there would be a swat on the behind there, not to cause immense physical harm, just enough to cause a sting to know, hey, that thing that I did was bad. But then the idea is we're not slapping hands, and that's going to show really well. We're not slapping hands against one another. It's not a physical contest like that. But hey, hitting people in the face is bad. Don't do that. Explain it, give her some physical retribution, and then love her and move on from there. So let me know what you all think about that. Also, this week, what else did I learn? I learned that I am just a perfect human being, perfect dad. No, I did run into some problems this week, and this is not just on the parenting side, this is on the humanity side. I had an extremely busy weekend, which meant in a 3-day period, I had a combined about 7 hours of sleep. And even since then, I haven't had more than 6 hours of sleep in a night, which is 6 hours is fine. 2 or 3 hours is not okay. And I learned this week that I physically cannot do that anymore because it messes with my mental psyche. I spent Monday and Tuesday this week trying to recover. I've talked about it in the past. I've struggled with depression and self-loathing, and all of those emotions flooded up this week. I went through some pretty dark thoughts, honestly. And I'm not saying this for pity. I don't pity me. I'm not upset that those things happen. It helps me understand where I'm at. I can cope a little better. And hopefully me talking about this helps someone else to understand what's going on with them. I was physically drained, and so overstimulated, overprocessed, overexhausted. Monday, Tuesday came around. I was unproductive, and I hate being unproductive. It eats away at my soul, and it tears apart my self-worth. I think, Drew, if you're not doing something that's worthwhile, you are the scum of the earth. You are a horrible human being, because here's what drives me. I have a limited amount of time on this earth, and I need to do the best I can and the most I can for God and for others in this time while I'm on earth. And I find that when I have days or even moments where I'm not doing things that seem profitable to those ends, then I feel as though I am worth less. It's not the case. I get it. I get that I am, even in when I'm in those moments, I understand, hey, I'm just physically drained. I'm mentally exhausted. My body literally can't do any more than I'm doing right now. I could push myself, and all it does is inefficient work and makes me exhausted for a longer period of time. I need to rest. Dad, I know if you're watching, Dad, I know I get this from you. This is your fault. I am this way, that I am always trying to go and never sleeping. Dad, would you just sleep? Take a nap. And I got to tell myself that, Drew, sometimes you don't need to be up till 4 in the morning working on a project and then waking up at 6 in the morning to finish that project. Sometimes projects are just going to be late. So I hurt myself this week. And when I am mentally and emotionally exhausted like that, I'm not a good husband. I'm not a good father. I am short with people. And this isn't a, haha, you're under 6 foot, you're a shorty. It's not that kind of joke. Like, I am brash with them, a little aggressive, just, I'm not even trying to be. It's just the way that I naturally express myself in those moments. So when that happens, I see it happening and I hate myself even more for it happening. And I know it's not helpful to me. It's not helpful to my wife. It's not helpful to my daughter. And so the lesson I learned, and hopefully this is something that can help you all as well. Take rest when you need it. We need rest. Our bodies can only cope so much. So rest so that you can be the best version of you. That also opens up a whole array of conversations. Ian's wanted to have this topic, and so we'll talk about it again whenever he and I get a chance to record our next episode. We got to have an outlet. It can't just be dads are machines who make the money and discipline the kids and all the man stuff. Roar. We got to have some sort of distraction, some outlet. I have a creative outlet. You're looking at it right now. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy being creative. I enjoy communicating and learning things and teaching and talking. And I enjoy this. I enjoy the branding side of it. I enjoy all of this. So that's my creative outlet. I also have a mental outlet. I'll play video games. Drew, you're such a child. What are you doing playing video games like a little kid? Shut up, Mom. I like it, okay? Leave me alone. Thankfully, I married a wife who understands that I'm a hyper-driven, mentally focused individual, and so that means burnout at times. And so it's not an excess. It's maybe a few hours a week, typically on a Sunday afternoon, while my wife and daughter are taking a long afternoon nap. I'll play video games, and it helps me just take a step back, step into a story, and just enjoy the process and cope with that. We need to have some sort of outlets. I'll play disc golf with people in my church. Not a fan of disc golf, but I'll do it. We need physical outlets. Hiking is something my wife and our daughter love. Isabella loves going to the mountains, walking in the mountains. She loves hiking. And so I'm really excited about this. We've gone a few times already this year. Whenever there's a day that is not 782 degrees outside, we'll go back to the mountains and go on a hike. It's a lot of fun. So I love hiking, love playing basketball. Don't get to do it as much these days, except in our men's summer league. By the way, I'm the superstar of the team. I made a bucket, not last game, but the game before. And I also got to the free throw line and missed both the free throws, but I was there at the free throw line and it was awesome. I love basketball. I love uh, sports, athletics. I love people and spending time with people. So for better or for worse, I have a lot of outlets, a lot of hobbies that I enjoy participating in, and those help me cope. They also help me become more efficient when I get to focus on work. I know that work is not all that I do, but it's a part of what I do. And the work that I do in the moments that I don't like it, I'm reminded, hey, I'm doing this so that there are things I care about and values that I have. This is meaningful work. And then that drives me. And then suddenly I like the work. So life hack for you: rest, enjoy life. You only have a little bit of it. And so make the most of it and be the best you can be in the time that you have. I've talked a lot. You are probably tired of my voice. You're probably tired of this podcast. You're like, man, I wish Ian was back here. And you know what Ian's saying right now? Drew, why are you so dumb? You made a lot of dumb stuff in the podcast and I hate it all. And sorry, man, I wanted to get a recording up and I had to talk about stuff and you weren't there to stop me, so my bad. No, for real, Ian, again, I miss you. I miss recording this podcast with you, and we're praying for you. I'm going to end this on a light note here. The other day, I was washing a car with my daughter washing. I got a work truck, and it's really dirty, so I was out there in the heat washing it, spraying, soaping, scrubbing it down. I was washing it with my daughter, and my daughter said, "Hey, Dad, next time, why don't you use a sponge?" Get it? Because I was using my daughter to... Well, okay. Sorry, it had to be a painful dad joke. With that said, talked about a lot in this podcast. Iranian bombings, the fake news media, Daddy's home. We talked about Tet McMillan, and we talked about depression and all other sorts of fun stuff like that. Leave comments, feedback, let us know how we're doing here in the comments below. One quick request. Look, guys, as a new channel, this happens a lot. We have fallen out of favor with the algorithm. And so what would really help is if you all could like, comment, subscribe, share, interact with us in any way possible. It'll let YouTube know that this is valuable content, and it'll let more people know that we exist. And then we can fill up our fantasy football league, and I can dominate you all. Peace out.